We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
You bring a really fresh perspective to the show. You've been in the business for over 3 decades. We've seen a ton of different cycles come and go. And you heard in the first segment, we're talking about Brexit. We're seeing some volatility in the economy. We're seeing rates that are all over the place. Really, quite frankly, even the Fed Reserve doesn't know where we're at. I mean, they first want to increase the rates, then they decide not to, so on and so forth. And it's not going to happen, I think. But do you think that we're dealing with a bubble today?
That's a good question. I mean, I do feel a change in the market. Just in the past couple of weeks, and I don't know if that's due to July is a very popular holiday time, and it's a popular vacation time. But I do feel a little bit of change.
Okay. How so? What do you mean?
Well, typically when I do an open house, I had an open house a couple of weeks ago in Waltham. I had over 50 people. I put my deadline of offers due on a certain day. And typically I'll get 10, 12 offers. I didn't get any. So but then I did another one, and I had 7 offers. So
on the same house?
On a different house.
On a different house.
So it's all kind of a crapshoot on what's going to happen.
And you don't think it's a function of the house? You don't think it's a function of the pricing of the house?
It's very hard to determine that because there were properties around this same area, and when you look at it on an appraisal perspective, I was right in line with market value. So, you either hit it in this market or you don't.
Interesting.
I have an offer now. I mean, I'm not talking about
it's sitting around.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the stress of that sometimes always doesn't happen. I mean, we've spent the last 2 or 3 years in a market where when you put it on the market, we just sit back and we try to cycle through all of the offers. I mean, I had one in December. I had 27 offers on.
Now, let me ask you this. If you go back in the past 3, 4, 5 years, do you see a trend whereby, I think we do anyways. There are sort of hills and troughs as far as activity is concerned within our industry. Do you think that what you're facing, the data points that you're seeing in the past couple of weeks, is that indicative of the trends of the past, or you think it's something new?
It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't. I don't feel like a big burst is going to happen. I see more of a stability going on.
Right.
Okay.
But if I knew that, I'd be talking to you from a beach in Florida somewhere because it's so hard to determine what's going to happen.
Right.
So. It just seems to keep going. I've found in the last 3 years I haven't stopped, which is not typical to what happened previously where I could have gotten another job. It died so quickly.
Right.
So I just see that cycle continuing.
Right. It showcases the home. It depersonalizes the home. You declutter and take away all the other stuff to be able to give the space the best presentation possible.
Yeah. And it's simple things like even we recommend to take away the soap by the sink because you don't want buyers to think about doing dishes. You want to give them this ideal. And that's really what people are buying.
I love that. Like literally just getting into their mindset of, and taking away the plunger right from the
exactly.
Yeah. Just the things that just will pop into people's minds going, they must have plumbing issues or just because it all just pops right in. And so the fact that you guys go in there and just take even the simple things out is phenomenal.
And then it's also what we bring in.
Yeah.
So we research the buyer demographic to learn who is the most appropriate buyer for this house, the most likely buyer. So we stage to get into their heads, to make them feel at home, to think, I'm going to sit here and have coffee. Oh, I'll look at this great place. It's such a step up from where I am. We're not trying to make it appeal to the broadest range of buyers because then it gets too generic. So
interesting.
Yeah, we really try to get in the heads. We actually have a woman who works for us who researches the buyer demographic. She really loves it. Tiffany and I always did it ourselves, but we're so busy we hired someone else who really digs that. So she
So not it's staging the same staging strategy is not effective for all homes. I mean,
Correct.
you sort of
Correct.
cater the strategy of staging depending on the type of population that may appeal to that particular home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what do you guys do when you walk into a home and the whole thing is wallpapered with nice, pretty flowers all over the place?
From the 60s.
We tell them you have to take it down.
Take it down.
Yeah, I mean, so you're
We pick
walking.
paint colors.
You're walking through that whole process with them, and you're maybe giving referrals to people who might be able to come in and
Absolutely.
take care of that. Are you doing a lot of this with sellers? And you're almost you're almost like the listing agent. You could they don't necessarily listen to the listing agent, but they do listen to you guys.
Exactly.
Right. We're the bad guys for
Right.
the real estate agent.
Yeah.
And we're
Well,
happy
that's
to be
fine.
so.
How
yeah.
do you navigate that?
We know we're helping the
Yeah.
client in the end.
They
We
seem to
know they're going to get
take it better from us because I think they trust, okay, they're the home stagers. They should know what buyers are looking for. They don't really have any financial gain the way that the real estate agent does. So they take it better, I think.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
know, I don't buy it. I'll challenge that.
Okay.
I'll challenge that. So we're dealing with a seller's market.
Yep.
Why do I need to stage my home in order to be able to showcase my property? We heard from Caroline the previous segment, right? And
Right.
she was saying that you're getting 20 offers on this particular property.
Right.
Why do I need to stage my home? Why do I need to take down the wallpaper Rick is talking about?
Well, I would say the proof is in the pudding. And we do
I
our
like it.
statistics every year. What we do is we follow along with the homes that we stage and also the homes that we consult on and the homeowners choose not to stage. And what we found for last year, and actually Linda knows these statistics a little better than I do, so I'll hand that over to her.
Sure.
So last year, the homes that we consulted on and they chose not to stage sold at 95% of asking price on average, which is phenomenal. That's a really great price. The homes that we staged sold at 102% on average.
Wow, 7% on average more.
7% more. So if you have a $500,000 house, that's $35,000.
Wow.
The
That's a
flip
big number.
side, it
Yeah.
is. And the flip side of that is the homes that didn't stage took 71 days to get that offer, to accept an offer. The homes we staged on average took 14 days to accept an offer. So you're also saving on tons of carrying costs.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
stress.
And you know,
And
I'm
stress.
playing devil's advocate here because there's a ton of sellers out there that are saying it's a seller's market, very competitive. Why do I even
Right.
need to showcase my property?
Right.
And I think you're right. I think the statistics are rather compelling. The first and foremost, I think, before you list your property, talk to a real estate agent, you need to get pre-approved. So you need to talk to Rick Shear at MSA Mortgage and call 855-4ASK-RICK and find out how much you can actually qualify for.
And that's not just a plug. I mean,
It's
guys,
not.
this is like serious stuff because yes, you own a home, and you think you may be able to afford another home, but they're all too often they go and list their house, they sell their house, and then they turn to their mortgage and go, "Oh, I didn't know this. You know, someone from X, Y, and Z country just stole all my credit, and my credit score is in the tank."
Exactly.
So it's not just a plug for Rick. It's not. It's that's one of the big things. Get pre-approved before putting your house on the market.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely important because you need to know what the next stage is. Well, you know your property most likely will sell very quickly, but you need to also know how much you can actually afford to be able to get to the next stage. So that's, I think, step one. Step two, I think you need to talk to us as your real estate concierge and interview 1, 2, or 3 real estate agents. And again, depending on where you're selling and where you want to go, if the geographical areas are in close proximity to one another, use the same real estate agent that lists your property and is going to guide you to the purchase of the other property. Again, like you've mentioned, a lot of moving parts between these two transactions. So the less number of cooks you've got in the kitchen, a way more manageable the process is going to be. You're going to reduce your anxiety and stress tremendously.
And one of the interview questions you want to ask when you're interviewing those real estate agents is, have you done this before? Have you walked a client through a buy and a sell before? How much you know, and how are you going to hold my hand through this process? Because I'll tell you, when I did it, I'm in the industry. Poor Linda, I was blowing her up all the time.
Absolutely.
Because I'm now a client.
And again, I mean, you bring up a really good point. In that conversation with the real estate agents, I mean, it goes back to knowing, liking, and trusting the individual. You need to talk to them about what level of expertise they have in the market. How long have they been doing it? Are they doing it full time? And again, like you mentioned, have you been involved in a sale and a purchase transaction simultaneously? So once you've identified that real estate agent and you now have an offer, there are creative ways of being able to build flexibility.